Everybody. Sorry, Minute to Skim It is late today. It wasn't Facebook, I don't think. I think it was just the fact that everything in my computer wanted to reboot. And I could have forced it, but then it would have been for sure a disaster. So I had to restart the computer so that it was not a craziness. So, hi, everybody. This is Minute to Skim It, where we're going to give you the spoiler-free-est reviews of the books that are out this week as we can. And I hope you guys are excited for all these books like I am, especially the DCKO stuff. Let's get after it. Hi, everybody. All right. It's so funny. Everything froze on my side. All right. Last issue of KO. Yes. Last issue of KO. We wrapped it all up. Corey's here and Barlord's here. You ready for the KO to be over? You want to move on to whatever's next? Well, okay. Well, it's your week then. Definitely going to happen. All right. We're doing it in cool reverse order. I guess we get to the KO toward the end, so don't worry. You'll get there. Cult of the Lamb. This is Last Sacrament special. This is kind of a cool excursus in which it looks like the lamb has lost his flock. I don't know. It feels like he has either on purpose or on accident lost his flock. And there, and by that I mean like the people that follow his like religion. I've never played the game, y'all, so I don't know. I only know what I've inferred from this. And he's being basically forced to figure out how to get that all back. It's a really cool book. I love the art style. I wish with all my heart I had played the game, because I am certain that would make all of this lore make way more sense. Yeah, this is a cool book. It's extra long, honestly. I think they meant this to be a good little one-shot of goodness. And every single time we've ever offered this book, we have a big core group of people that always come out for it. I feel like it's the same group that showed up for last week's. It was the video game one from last week. We sold that thing like crazy. It was another Oni book. Oni knows what they're doing when they do video game adaptations. I hope you guys tried that one out, because it was kind of cool. Even though I'm obviously not from the gaming crowd, I really enjoyed that one too. So pick up Cult of the Lamb. It's Pat Nadell writing, so yeah. Maybe it isn't a one-shot, but I feel like it's a special, so it can't go any further than this. So I think it's a one-shot. It doesn't have a number. It just says special. And I read like the wrap-up last pages, and I feel like it had a good close. Okay, Pooh Bear Adventures. All right, if you have ever watched any of our kind of like interview shows with Matt Cole, creator of Glopple, you will recognize that name on this book, because this is Matt Cole again with Keen Spot, which is where Glopple comes out also. I don't remember when Pooh became like for like public use, but there's been a bunch of stuff that's come out this Pooh, like weirdly things like Pooh Blood and Honey, not a great movie, and other Pooh related projects like Do You Pooh. This one is super sweet, all ages accessible. You will feel just like you did when you were a kid watching a Pooh Bear video or reading your Pooh Bear book. This is so sweet. It's a very different art style. It looks like very painted, just like that cover does. And this one focuses on mostly Pooh Bear and Piglet as they have an adventure where they follow footprints that they think might be like these weird creatures that are part of the Pooh Bear universe. And they don't figure out the mystery of the footprints, which you probably, if you were like older than 3, can figure out who is leaving the footprints as they walk around in circles. That Christopher Robin helps them understand what's going on, and so they're not scared. So this is a really sweet book, lots of really cute art. So if you have someone young in your life that you're trying to get into comic books, or if you've got a young one that you like to read to at night, this is perfect stuff. And the other cool thing about this book series is that they're all come polybagged, and each polybag book has a card that's part of it. And there are 4 cards you can collect. So if you're a person that likes to collect cards, you're gonna have to buy 4 books. But otherwise, I mean, I think that's probably fine, right? You collect your card set, give away 3 copies to like schools in your area or your nieces and nephews and cousins and all those guys. It's a win-win for everybody. Twisted Childhood Universe expands with Pinocchio movie with Robert Englund as Jiminy. Oh my. All right. This is a really fun annual for X-Men. You don't need to know anything. This is not, as far as I can tell, touching anything that's been going on in these books. This is a cool creative team. That's Stegman, who usually you see doing covers, writing, and then kind of a cool group of artists. So the premise of this book is pretty interesting. So a bad guy appears. Well, first of all, we'll say that the Phoenix shows up first. And that's kind of a cool little interaction. But then, how do I explain it? So this rift appears in the middle of the page, white rift. And out of the rift comes a creature. I think the first time it comes through, it looks like this thing on the front cover. But it's drawn like, it looks like pencils, not colored in art. And what you find out is that there is a fellow who is one of some of the original mutants that got passed over for the school, who his power is that he can make anything become real. The problem is he doesn't have a very good imagination for it. So he has 2 creators that are at their little like desks, just like you'd see them doing their creation in regular comic book back rooms. And he like tells them, like, keep creating creatures. As soon as you create the creature, I can make it become real. And he sends them through to fight the X-Men, right? The fun thing is that like all of the creators here, both the guy who is like the one who animates everything and then the 2 guys that are creating it, I feel like might be the actual creative team on this book. So how much fun is that? It's a really fun storyline. And I'll let you guys read it to see how it all susses out. But this is a fun little excursus from main storyline. All the characters act like they should. But super fun, like breaking of the 4th wall, I guess. I loved it. All right, now this one I did not expect to be as wonderful as it really was. So I guess this is a prelude to the Dark Maul show that's getting ready to be launched. I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is the Shadow of Maul, and weirdly does not have Maul in it at all until the very end. Okay, this one is great. It's almost like police procedural. So the fellow there with the mustache is the main character. He is trying to go after some bad guys. They're doing a sting kind of thing where they show up at a bar. At the back of this bar are obviously like creatures behind glass. And you find out that the bar is kind of like a place where you can either buy or like bet on poisonous creatures to like use their stuff. And then something crazy happens when the police officer shows up and tries to pretend to be just a normal guy. And of course, the bad guys have figured him out. And then it's all kind of like spinning out of that. There's something that happens to him. he has to call in his backup, which is the guy that looks like a robot there. I think he is a robot. And his name is Two Shoes, 2 feet, 2 something, 2 legs. I forgot. I just thought it was kind of an interesting name for a robot partner. But it does look like Pedro, doesn't it? It does look a little bit like Pedro. But I don't know. I wouldn't be mad at him playing that part. Anyway, this is great because it's like all of that is like completely like you're watching the very best of police, like hijinks. Like, who do we trust? Who? There's definitely a mole. Where'd the mole come from? All that stuff. And then it ties into the Maul storyline at the very end. So I very much prefer stories like this. I like having it be something in a universe that I recognize instead of, you know, being super spacey. I just enjoy these much more, of course, because I like police procedural. So they got my numbers, and I'm excited to read the rest of this because I've missed Maul. Moonstar. This is an interesting book. It does tie into all the other storylines that have been happening in the main universe books, and it is part of the Shadows of Tomorrow storylines that are all leading into the Age of Armageddon. Yes, Age of Armageddon. Sometimes I think myself, I'm saying the wrong A word, but nope, that's it. So Danny goes through like this. She's thinking back to the past. There is in the past a sword. It has a special name. The sword has ties to the Valkyries, which she has been a Valkyrie. And the sword itself, if it kills somebody, it makes them so they can never die, or if they're immortal or something. Or it takes their spirit into the sword. It kind of feels a little bit like, what's the character's name in the Suicide Squad? Katana? Her husband's soul is in the sword. But the sword's been stolen, and they know who the bad guy is that has it, and the bad guy is trying to come for her and her other, thank you. And it's like, my brain's working for names today. Woo! So the bad guy's coming, and the little troop of people that Moonstar's been hanging out with, the guy with, like, I don't remember any of these guys' names, but I apologize. The guy that has, like, he wears a blindfold over his eyes all the time. And then a girl that looks kind of like a punk girl, purple hair. They're all part of the same group. And they confront him in this book, and something really crazy happens. So, good setup. You get to see her Pegasus horse a lot, which I like. And it's okay if you don't know who these other people are. Clearly, I don't know what their connections are to her because I haven't been reading all of the side books. But it didn't bother me. I kind of got the gist of how they relate to each other. So, Katrina from Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat! Iceman Omega. I'm going to be real with y'all. These have got, this is like a bunch of individual stories that are basically Bobby hooking up with different people, but also some superheroing. So I didn't know what to think of it because I didn't feel like it had like a storyline that like meant something to the bigger universe, except for to relate that he has had many loves, and that's cool. And it's an extra thick book, so thick. It's like twice as big as a normal comic book. So if you like reading Bobby stuff, you will love it. It has a bunch of salty, sassy, fiery, thirsty, whatever content. So just so you know, if your kids read it, they will have questions. Unofficial team-up book? Not really. It really just like there's a person that he's been attached to before who he hasn't seen in ever that they bring back. Like it explains it as he was kind of like lost in a time loop or something and comes back. That was kind of cool to see them back together. Vince Marvel's trying to make the $6 norm. Maybe. I'm okay for the $5 norm. $5 norm is fine by me. $6, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is $6 too much?
For me, it depends on the content of the book, the page count.
Yeah, if you get a double-sized book, that seems like it's fair, right?
Yeah.
$6 for a normal 22 pages plus a bunch of ads. I don't know.
All right, we are flying through the books. We are already on the seventh book.
Sorry, I was so worried because I was like 10 minutes late starting. I've got nervous energy now. Nervous energy as I sat here going, hurry up, computer. All right, that Avengers big epic finale. I did not read all of the Avengers storyline that's been leading up to this moment, but this is definitely a turning of the guard, as they say. This is literally Captain Marvel going to all of her teammates and people that she very much respects and kind of talking to them about the fact that she feels like it's her time to step down as a leader of the Avengers / disband the entire team. Because I guess in the past, whenever the leaders step down, a whole totally new team gets made. So this is kind of like a good touching base with the who's who of who's been on the team and how they respect her and what that dynamic is for the team. And it's definitely a clear delineation that they're going to be moving on to something else. And it's so, I like it because it kind of gets you to that last bit where it's like, okay, so here's the hard stop. Everyone's very sure about who they want to be the new leader. And then it leaves you. So you don't know who it is. And there's, as far as I can tell, not clues in the book. So you can infer who it might be. No one that she talks to says, I've had an idea that maybe I might want to be the leader. There's none of those kinds of feeling. It's very much just I love Captain Marvel. Here's the ways in which she's done a great job, and that she's definitely a great leader because she knows when it's time to, the time for like the true crisis is over, and you can take your lap. So I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to say is the next big conflict. If it's the Age of Armageddon, if that is the reason for the formation of the new team, if that informs who the leader should be, or if it's just literally who everyone's been like, that's clear through all of this. The person that's been the strongest person should be the next to stand up. I'm always interested in how people choose leaders, right? How do you guys choose leader? Is it the person who doesn't want to be the leader that clearly should be the leader? Or is it the one person that steps up? You're like, I don't want to be the leader. Whoever is willing to do leadership should be able to do it. It's always been an interesting thing to me. I've always been the boss of my own businesses, so I've always been the leader. Although I love having really excellent staff members that are also considered leads. Because, man, it's a lot of work if you're always the person making every decision. So anyway, who would you guys choose to be the next leader of the Avengers?
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, huh? I like it. I just know who it shouldn't be, right? Should never be Deadpool.
Oh, I was going to say Scott.
Scott, I think he's got his own stuff to lead. He can lead the Avengers also. I mean, I might pick Moon Girl. All right, Amazing Spider-Man. This is the second part of the Death Spiral storyline. Okay, let me see if I can get you guys all caught up. This is going to be my Miss Jen's. Let me get you all recentered to what happened. In The Amazing Spider-Man, that has been going on since the beginning. You've had a very awesome Peter Parker. The problem is that at some point in the recent past, he got punched, pow, straight into another dimension and has been gone. The people that have taken his place are two different people. His clone has been taking his place as Peter Parker, and he's had his good friend, Harry, pretending to be Spider-Man. So neither one of them have been him, and that has led to a lot of very difficult relationships and whatevers with, everyone in his life. So like, they all think that he's just like, doesn't want to be near them, doesn't want to talk to them, whatever. So he's coming back into this situation with having everyone in his life be mad, pretty much, with him. Conflicts with Ben, because of course he's been a bad clone and not doing a good job of being him. His friend's done a good job of being Spider-Man. That's not a big deal. But while he was gone, the roles of Venom and Carnage have changed, right? So Venom is now Mary Jane, which he does not know. And he assumes it's Eddie Brock still. And Eddie Brock is now Carnage. So the only thing he knows when he enters into this storyline is he knows that he's been told that Carnage knows his real identity. Okay? So here's the start. And behind all of this, you have this character, I guess his name is Death Spiral. They've never said anything else about whether his name is something else. He has got his fingers in all of this, stirring the pot. In the last issue that was part of this, the very beginning of Death Spiral, you actually see him on purpose, like perpetrating deaths of real people. So he's like a horrible serial killer-y kind of guy. And he's still stirring the pot for Pete. So in this one, there's interaction between him and Venom, in which he gets to find out what's been going on. That is Mary Jane. And he gets to further along a little bit that storyline with Carnage. So there you go. It's everything you need to know. I've just like saved you 6 months of your life, but you can still go back and read all those stories, and they're really, really good. So go back and get your first couple of volumes of the graphic novel for Amazing Spider-Man, and you will love them. They have been such amazing reads. It's been a long time since I've been this excited for Amazing Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man. Both of them have been really good. That foot on Venom looks like another fist. I guess so. Yeah, it does kind of look clawy, doesn't it? Agreed. Narco. Oh my gosh. I love Doug Wagner's everything. All his books, every single one of them, I like more than the rest. Maybe it's because of my criminal justice background, because most of his characters tend to be very serial killery. The other ones he's done, the way you should start them is start with Plastic. Plastic's the one that stars Edwin, who is a killer for the mob. And when he wants to leave, then someone comes in, tries to do a hit on him, and steals his car. And in the back of the car is his bride, Virginia. His bride, Virginia, just happens to be an ooh-la-la doll and is not a real human. But that does not matter to Edwin. Anyone that has touched her or thought about her will die. John Wick style. Okay? So that's the lead off in his crazy universe of murdering people. Then he did one called Vinyl. And I haven't got to finish that series, so I'm certain it all ties in, not in like a direct way, but the same kind of sicko stuff. And then there's one called Plush. Now, he also just finished up I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer, and that character kills people and takes their skin to sew up and make high fashion. And then he went back and hit Plastic again, did a follow-up series in which you'll look at Edwin as a young man and realize he's always been screwed up. There is not something that happened to him to make him that way. He just has been messed up, kind of like Amanda Waller. All right, this is a new book by Doug. Now you can go back and buy all the rest of that stuff and be real happy. You should totally do it. I've got people in my store that I have all those trades piled up, and they will start with Plastic and then they'll read all of them because they like that sicko universe so much. This is an interesting new book. This is Narco. This is about this kid here in the middle who, as far as we can tell, is just a normal kid that has a blog or a vlog or something in which he has kind of like theories about serial killers. And he kind of like when you meet him, he's just sitting on a bench. He's got some good friends that are part of his group. But what you find out in this opening foray with him is that if his heartbeat goes above 200 somethings, he passes out. He has narcolepsy. So that's the key, is like when he gets to that, he gets too excited, passes out. And also in this book, you kind of find out that he, like in his friends group that he gets together with at cafe, there's a girl that works at the cafe who you find out also happens to be his neighbor, who he has a huge crush on. And that person obviously is reciprocating that crush a little bit, but he's too scared to do anything about it. Maybe because of also his narcolepsy. So yes, they do have a trade paperback for all of those books. I can totally hook you up with any of those. I carry them in giant quantities. So for this one, it appears that one of his theories about serial killer, it hit a little bit close to home. And what we see as readers, but he does not see because he just closes up his laptop, is that some of the comments that are coming back to him seem very threatening. So this one is a super scary serial killery idea. Like the idea that he has about how this serial killer has been operating is mind-blowingly crazy. It would be the perfect way to hide your serial killerness. So I hope no one uses this as an idea to be super murdery. But yeah, this is going to be, you're going to fall in love with this kid, for one. You're definitely going to fall in love with this kid. And you're going to hope that he figures out a way to make it out of this alive, because if he gets excited, he just literally passes out. So how do you protect yourself if you just black out? So anyway, this is awesome. Start here with this one. Do we have a talking shop or two with Doug? I sure hope so. I feel like we got him around.
I just got to say that this cover with the Pop-Tarts and the bloody girl, this is fantastic.
And the Pop-Tart is like part of the story. And like when you see how it fits into the story, like that didn't do nothing for no reason. It's always, everything on every page has got a purpose. This is just a reminder for you guys, for big fans of Invincible and or people that like crossovers, when you're getting all super hyped for the Superman, Spider-Man stuff that's coming out soon. They've done a whole bunch of facsimiles for Marvel Team Up. They've done the original cover, which I think this is the one, and they've done a whole bunch of alternative ones. So you can get a bunch of facsimiles of this crossover, and then you can get a bunch of different covers for it. And I know a ton of my local guys have been asking for it. It is really cool. The last time we saw the facsimile of this is part of the blind bags for Battle Beast #1. If you were really lucky, you got the foil cover of this one in there. And that's the last time you could have gotten it. Or you can buy the original on the secondary market for many monies. Or you can buy it this week from your local comic shop, and you should. All right. This is super fun. I don't know if you guys have noticed it at your local comic shop, but in my store specifically, anything Sonic IDW or Mega Man or heck, pretty much anything that's been made for kids, we sell out of it. It's like incredible how fast it sells out. And I don't think it's only from kids buying them. I think a lot of adults are buying them and enjoying them. This one is a really fun storyline in which the main character, who maybe from the video games, I don't recognize him, he creates this big race that he wants everyone to race in because he wants to test his crazy new car style. So he asks all of our normal Sonic characters to participate. And the thing that's really neat, the Crossworlds part, is that For part of the race, they like, what is it called? It's like a ring or something. They get pushed out of the normal world and go and do this part of the race. And then the last bit comes back into where they are. And he promises them, like, the winner to have some kind of like prize beyond imagination. And is there a dinosaur in this? I don't remember there being a dinosaur. You see the dinosaur on the cover? I don't remember that. maybe there is a dinosaur in this book. But it's a super bunch of fun. You get to definitely learn the personalities of all the racers. And the car designs are cool. Great read for if you just want to have something to like turn your brain off and enjoy some good Sonic stuff. Or if you got kiddos that you want to read along with. I have a feeling that this is going to be a big sellout.
I've always said that the Sonic books, they're your palate cleanser from all the dark stuff you read for most of the week. These are always super fun books.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you have like Eggman show up, which I'm not saying he does, but he does in this book. Even if your big bad shows up, often he's adorable. All right, now we're getting into serious stuff. DCKO. I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. So by doing that, I'm going to kind of get us all reacclimated to where we are in the storyline for DCKO. So the whole story has been built on this idea that Darkseid wants to become King Omega. If he gains enough Omega energy, that he can be ruler of over all things, all universes, all planets, all those things. And to that end, long ago, he planted the Heart of Apocalypse in our world. And if he has enough Omega energy, then he can rule our world based on that. And he has also created the absolute universe in order to start generating that Omega energy. Because I think you've realized that the absolute universe is a lot more gritty than our main universe stuff. So you can look at it now through the lens of like, oh, Darkseid created that version of it. So that makes sense. So our heroes back at the beginning of this tournament figured this stuff out, and Darkseid said, great. We'll let you guys battle it out, see if you can get some Omega energy. So we started out with a group of 32 good guys and bad guys. Some of those bad guys were surprises in the very first issue. And in the lead in to the books that killed Batman, so everyone was like, what the heck? And then that kind of like comes back around, right? So when last we saw everybody in the 4th issue, we had the big battle between the absolute guys, the 4 absolute characters, and their kind of like almost component people from the main universe. It's so hard to say, like, which universe? Anyway, then we're down to the champion that existed at the end of that book. So if you don't want to know who was the champion at the end of 4, you're going to have to close your ears. It's Lex, right? So he's the guy that now has to battle against Darkseid. Now, everything in this book goes completely twisted. It's a really, really cool storyline, how they get this all realigned back to where it finishes the story. I hope that it didn't big spoiler it into not wanting to read it, Barlord, because how you get there is so important. Remember, I kept on telling you all the time that I felt like maybe Superman and Booster Gold that came back from the future and knew what had happened, that what they saw was the way that it would all end. So I will tell you that, of course, they probably heard me saying that on the internet, so we can't finish it that way because Miss Jen has already spoiled that ending. So I will tell you that that's not how it ends. So it does end very interestingly. I like the new, like the how it all rolls out at the end. You will not feel cheated. It's not purgatory. I'm trying to think of like wah-wah endings of other books that made you feel like, oh, that it? Forget that.
Don't stop. I hope anybody out there got that reference. Hope anybody. I hope somebody got it.
We got smart people here. So anyway, yes, don't miss it. Excited for everyone to get to read it. I'm going to be dancing tomorrow as I sell it. Come back and talk to me about it. The suplex cover. Yeah, there's some really cool other covers too. All right, Batman. This is Blood and Money. Start here. All right. When you read the last issue, I hope everyone did. Raise your hand if you didn't. Sorry. I'm going to spoil something about the very last page because that's what this entire book is about. At the very end of number 6, you get to see Joker and what he currently looks like, which is pretty much a dude in a Bacta tank. He is not in good shape, I will say. His dad bought it out, and he's all hooked up to a bunch of stuff. He's like, it's like one of those things, like first reaction is like, this feels like it came from the absolute universe. But no, this is just normal Joker being crazy. So you should not be down on this Joker. This is our Joker. The reason he is where he is super mind-blowing. So imagine, those really good movies where the bad guy somehow reaches out to the good guy so that they can get together about something, but neither one of them is in control of that situation. But you feel like one of them definitely is in charge of that situation, but which one is it? It's like a total head game. That's what's happening in this one. Hey, Daniel Scott, super awesome artist. How are you doing, my friend? So just know, without giving you guys any spoiler at all, this is a not to miss issue. Not like any of the other ones from this creative team haven't been don't miss them. This is even more a don't miss them because it's definitely like a mind-bending who in the room is in control, and maybe nobody. But it's so good, y'all. My brain explodes for how good this one is. You're gluing. Do your fingers ever like hurt from the glue, Daniel?
Yeah, real quick before we get to the next book, for folks that can't see him over on Facebook, Daniel Scott Jr. Pop Rap Art, I believe, is what he goes by. Y'all, he makes this amazing art out of candy wrappers. It's awesome. I have a couple of the prints. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have. I don't know where I've got my Spider-Man somewhere. When I moved offices, when we moved here, I didn't put all my art up because it's like you can't hammer into the walls in here. They're made out of concrete. So I do need to bring my art and figure out how to display it because I've got a really awesome Spider-Man head from him. It's really cool. All right, Absolute Superman. We got our absolutes here wrapping up at the end. There is a giant creature that is, well, I don't know if it started out giant, but it is now, that has shown up and is attacking Metropolis. It's called Parasite. And then every person that it touches with these little grabby mouths, it kind of absorbs. Imagine the situation in which it looks like aliens when people are like, kill me. Jimmy gets absorbed. And Superman comes up with a really interesting way to try to fight this creature. Because everyone, like, he's been kind of like paired up with Hawkman. I think it's Hawkman. They don't ever show his face, so I don't know if it's a Hawkman or a Hawk Girl in there. And that guy's like, you should not let this thing touch you because it's absorbing energy also from everybody that it touches. And there's no telling how powerful it could get if it got a hold of you. So wrap your mind around that. This one will, for all time, cement for you how powerful this version of Superman is. Just how incredibly over the top, super smart about knowing who he is and how much he can do. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And Absolute Flash. When last we saw him, he was confronting this guy. Now, see, I knew all of these words until I tried to think really hard about it. This is one of the big bads in the main Flash universe, who is the Reverse Flash guy. Help me, somebody. That name's going to come to me when I'm not trying to think of it. Anyway,
you're not talking about Ebard, are you?
Yes.
Ebard Thawne?
I thought so. You guys can correct me if that's not what this creature guy is.
I'm very behind on Absolute Flash, so I'm just guessing.
It's been so good. So, in this one, the big fight comes to a head as he very much believes that he has to do something to take care of this bad guy, and formulates a plan. Thawne, thank you. So, in the last issue, or the issue before last, his dad showed back up, which we thought was gone. And man, I cannot tell you anything else about this book because there's something really big that happens, but I cannot tell you because it messes everything up. But this is really good character development for Wally. Really, really good character development for Wally, as he is accepted that this is what he was made for. Like, he believes that there's an action in here that he believes he's made for, but maybe it was made for somebody else. But anyway, this is a good finishing up of, well, not complete finishing up of this bad guy, but a good way to have taken care of this bad guy. All right. Thanks, guys, for putting up with the fact that I was late. There are some Jay Carrick or nothing, right? There are some cool books that are out this week, so you can grab them up from your LTS. This is probably the hardest of the miniseries to get for Lobo, but you can grab it up as a graphic novel. You can also get volume 4 of Feral. By the way, I am certain that you've noticed that Tony has dropped the information that you should definitely jump in on issue 21 because there's a crossover between his two universes. You get the volume 14 of Invincible, the little book. This is one I think a ton of people are going to be looking for this week, the Compact to Nightwing. It is time to get your volume 2 Absolute Superman books, both the hardcover and the softcover versions. You can get Amazing Spider-Man Through the Gates of Heck, Wolverines and Deadpools. This beautiful series from News from the Fallout, Chris Condon, about surviving a nuclear winter that's full of zombies. I do. And then this awesome, I don't know if you've ever read any Pause books, but this one's a brand new one, The Trouble with Leo. So if your kids like pets, this is a really great book that is coming out this week. All right. Yeah. Coming up next is my crazy show, Tomorrow's Comics Tuesday. And that lasts a couple hours. And then do we have something coming on after that today?
Absolutely. At 10 Eastern, 9 Central, Bentley's going to sell us some comics. If you're listening to the thumbnail.
If you guys have not ever watched the show and seen Bentley for the skid bark thing, the Wheel of Skid Bark is awesome and worth the price of admission. We love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jay, for holding the fort down while my computer tried to eat itself. I will see you guys in just a little bit. Definitely head to your LCSs. Let them know what you want to have that you heard about tonight. I apologize. I didn't have Nectar to review for you guys. We did not order them, unfortunately. So I don't have one to review for you. But it is the hot book of the week. So go find that. I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.